Snowman, hey, what better place to answer your question but in the snow? So your question is it hard to maintain your food supply? Food supply is very important, but as you go, more miles you hike, you figure it out and it gets easier. Gryffindor, how much food do you pack for your sections of trail? Usually too much. That's something you'll figure out in time, and it depends on how long of a stretch between resupply stops. So you want to end up with very little when you get to your resupply or town. If you get there with very little food, you're getting it dialed in. Talkies, what comfort items do you take with you? The comfort items could also be referred to luxury items, and there are 5 that I can think of. One would be a sit pad, real lightweight, easy to carry on your pack. So if you need to stop and sit, it's comfortable on your behind. For sleeping, a blow-up pillow. Some people prefer them, some people don't. If it gets real cold and your feet get cold, you can get some down booties. They keep your feet warm. Camp shoes. Those are nice to have at camp, especially if you're walking around and there's a lot of stickers and stuff in the grass or the ground, rocks. Easy on your feet, plus your feet get to breathe and you get to take your hiking shoes off, your trail runners. And then a chair. Some people do take chairs where they sit and relax when they take breaks or just use them at camp, but they're a little heavy to carry. Harry, what's it like sleeping out in the wild with everything watching you? It's a good question. Sometimes when I cowboy camp, I don't really worry too much and hear too much, but when I'm in my tent, for some reason, I hear a lot of stuff going on out there. Never know what it is, rustling in the bushes. Usually it's probably something small like a mouse or a rat or a squirrel or something like that, but never really worry too much about bears, mountain lions, snakes, and stuff like that. Star, how many days worth of supplies do you pack? Aside from normal gear, the average days on the trail, usually between 3 and 7 days. So you've got to figure out what you need, pack just what you need for about that period of time. And sometimes there are areas where you don't have to pack as much because the resupply spots are a lot more frequent. Bella, what do you do if you run out of food in the middle of a hike? Well, the key is to plan ahead so you don't run out of food. I have to admit that the day I summited Mount Whitney, I underestimated that challenge. I burned off a whole lot more calories than I did take in because I didn't pack enough food. I was short at least a couple of candy bars. Fortunately, there were other hikers that had plenty of food. Don't make it a habit of depending on other people for food or anything else. But sometimes things happen. There was a time where a water bottle fell out of my pack. And there were other hikers that were hiking with me, and they all pitched in and helped out. And I've done the same for other hikers. We look out for each other. But you don't want to run out of food, so you got to plan ahead of time for that. Chad, do you ever get sore? Yes, Chad. Almost every day. Sometimes it's my feet, sometimes it's my shoulders, sometimes my knees. Young or old, I think a lot of hikers feel that pain. You put on a lot of miles and you're doing it every day. So especially for us old dudes, the lower back, that I think bothered me more than anything. So it's not uncommon to have the sore legs and feet. Ankles, you're climbing up, you're climbing down. Again, you're doing long miles, so you're going to be sore. Good climb. And getting higher and higher in altitude. Another day, another climb. That's what it's all about. Climbing mountains. So it's just like going to the gym. You work out at the gym, you're sore after that. But when you get in condition, it helps. There's a couple ways of looking at it. When you start hiking a lot of miles and you get in good shape and you get your trail legs, you're feeling good. But after a few months, you're really putting a lot of stress on that body. So if you're not resting yourself, you can injure yourself. So it's important to listen to your body. But yeah, I do get sore all the time.
all downhill from here.
Smurf, another music question. Love it. Pikachu, what kind of music pops in your head when you're hiking? Yeah, I do listen to music while I'm out there, and sometimes I hike and sing to it, especially if it has a good rockin' beat. So it does help me. I'm a rocker at heart. Classic rock, any type of rock, alternative rock, post-rock, indie rock, but mostly rock and blues. I also listen to country, funk, even some hip-hop and jazz, but again, rock is my preferred type of music that I listen to on the trail. So a good rock beat is what I prefer. Bendy, what would you rather have, a large tent or more inventory gear / gear? Interesting question. I've always preferred my Z-Pax Duplex as my favorite tent. It's a 2-person tent. For me, it's more like a 1.5-person tent, but I really enjoy all the room in there. It weighs just a little over a pound, so I'm able to carry the gear that I need. So if you're referring to a Harry Potter tent and Minecraft type thing, I'm clueless. Don't hate me. I've never been a Harry Potter fan, but I think you're referring to something like that. Brainiac 2. What do you do to keep your feet from hurting? I'd say picking out the best shoes for you. For me, the trail runners that fit me the best are the ones that I will not change for anything because they work. The socks that I've used, I use the toe socks, the Injinjis. They just take a lot of time, a lot of trouble to put on and to take off, but sometimes it's worth it because they work for me. There are times when I do interchange them with some darn tough socks, and I'm still fine. But the key is I would often change my socks after hiking a few miles, in the middle of the day sometimes. Give them a chance to breathe, wash them if you get a chance downstream. If there are sources where you could refresh your feet, sit around and take some time to relax them, let them breathe. And I think that's the way to keep them from hurting or getting hurt and getting blisters. But your feet will let you know when to stop and allow them to breathe and dry out. You'll feel it. All right, letting my socks dry. Deku, what is your favorite part of hiking or favorite part about hiking? Clarity. The mental aspect of it. My mind just clears. Not only do you get in good cardio shape and you feel good physically, but mentally and spiritually it's the best. And this is usually the case when I'm hiking solo, although I do have to admit sometimes when I am solo I get lonely. So, I battle that, but there are a lot of people on the trail. You end up hiking with somebody and it breaks up the loneliness, but then after a while of hiking with people, you want to break that up by going out there and doing some more solo self-reflection. I enjoy that piece. When it gets lonely out there, it's good to see all those other hikers that you love being with too. Well, think, how many minutes or hours does it take before I get thirsty? Well, that all depends. In the hot desert, you get thirsty quite often and you have to stay hydrated. When you're up in the Sierra and higher altitude where it's cooler, water is plentiful, so you don't get thirsty as often, but you still want to drink water no matter where you're at. It's really important to stay hydrated on the trail. Smarty, have you ever had a venomous attack on you? You're probably referring to maybe a rattlesnake, and no, I'm lucky I haven't, but I did come across a rattler. I actually stepped on it, didn't see it.
Stepped on that sucker. He didn't like it. He made me do a dance.
I was just hiking along, looking out at the views, and I felt it on my right foot. I jumped up immediately, kind of danced to my left. It went to its right and left me alone, and I left it alone. It was a close one, but never been bit.
That's right. Move along, boy. Move along. He's just staring at me.
Mermaid. How do hikers take showers on the PCT, and how do you handle dirty clothes? Well, unfortunately, there are no showers on the trail. But when you get to towns, you have options. You have hotels, motels, hostels, sometimes even trail angels invite you into their homes with showers. You can do your laundry in most of those places or in a laundromat in town, but not on the trail. It'd be nice. Speedy, do you find flowers that you like on the trail? Yeah, a lot of different flowers. Although I've never really studied flowers or know their names, a lot of them are beautiful to look at, and I've even been guilty to stop and smell the flowers. You know, some of them don't smell like anything, and some of them do smell nice. Never thought I'd ever do that, but yeah, a lot of beautiful flowers on the trail. Sapling. Do you ever get lost? So as far as getting lost, I've gone off trail, but not to the point where I was lost. There was a time when I went off a side trail without knowing it. I was about a half mile out, and I saw this amazing view, one that I wouldn't have seen if I didn't go off trail. So I continued though another mile until I realized I wasn't on the PCT. I was on what's called a blue trail off the PCT. So once I checked my trail app, I was able to retreat back to the trail. And the bad news, I added another 3 miles that day. But the good news was I was able to see another amazing and beautiful sight. Roblox, your question is, what would you do if you lost all your things, your backpack, and all the items you hike with? Well, if that happened, and more than likely it won't, but the only time I can think that it may happen is if you're crossing a river, raging one that's or a stream that's a little dangerous, but you got to be real careful because you unsnap your backpack because you don't want to go down with your backpack. So I would recommend that you carry your GPS tracking satellite device with you on your person, so that if you do lose your backpack, you can call for help. There are other hikers around, they'll probably help you out, or you can call for help and get off the trail. But more than likely it's not going to happen. Be careful when you're hiking. Don't lose your backpack, don't lose your things. Hey buddy, how you doing? How you doing, pal? Oh, you gonna come to me? Mongoose, do you often see horses along the way? Yeah, I've seen a lot of horses, mostly in the Southern California portion of the trail, and it's always nice to come across them. Breaks up the day, and take a little break. They're usually stopping at a stream, and if you're at a stream, they'll drink water, you hang out, you pet them. The riders are usually really nice. They love PCT hikers. So it's nice to see them on the trail, but it's not very, very often, but often enough for you to remember. I can remember at least 3 or 4 times that I've seen them on the trail last year.
You want that one?
Oh, sure. Let me put my poles down.
This one, her name's Cat, like kitty cat.
Hi, Cat. How you doing? Pinkie Pie. What do you do if you get bit by a snake? Come on, guy, get out of the road. I gotta pass. What you doing? Well, if it's venomous and you can confirm that it is venom that was injected in you, it's safer to assume that it is if it's a rattler. Yeah, hope it doesn't happen to you, but if it does, you'd probably have to call for help unless there's somebody around to get you off the trail quickly, get you to a hospital. You might have to be flown out and get some anti-venom. So let's hope it doesn't happen to you. Sometimes you can tell whether or not the bite is venomous by the pattern of the bite. But that's something you need to study up on. Always safer to assume, though, that it is venomous if you do get bit. More than likely, if you leave those snakes alone, you're not going to get bit. So don't be afraid of those snakes.
Wow, I can't believe it. Last and final question by Brainiac. Now this isn't Brainiac 2, this is Brainiac 1. Brainiac asks, what was your journey like? Brainiac, it was amazing. It was sad to come off trail, although after hiking hundreds of miles, you want to rest your body. You want to come off trail and sleep in a bed, get some food. For the most part, I think most people do, but it doesn't take long to miss that trail. And that's because it was an amazing journey.
Good morning.
Getting up every day and seeing the beautiful sights, again, getting in touch with nature, learning a lot about yourself. I once told another hiker that was questioning whether or not he'd be brokenhearted if he went out there and failed. I said, well, don't think about failing. There's no failure. You go out there and you start your journey, and it ends when you want it to end. But it'll identify you. It'll invigorate you. It will make you learn a lot about yourself and the things that you never thought you could do, and the times that you're in fear and you get through the tough parts. It makes you that much stronger, and it's exciting when you accomplish those things on the trail that you never thought you can do. So it was an amazing journey. I look forward to continuing on the PCT and some other trails for all those amazing things, the beauty, the sights, the other hikers, and all the nature, wildlife, and just the surreal and peaceful feeling that you get when you're out there.
Hey guys, last thing I want to mention to you is to be safe out there. If you're in snow conditions, make sure the conditions are safe enough for you to be out there. Make sure you have all the gear that you need, the proper safety gear, and have fun, okay? Happy trails.
Set myself aside, lead the way on this trial. If you don't know the way, we can stop and make a change. I know we walk for days, losing hope, fading love. This night will be okay.